The story of the LA Dream Team starts way back. It begins in the early 1980s. This was a time when hip-hop was mostly an East Coast thing. New York City was the center of the universe for rap music. But out on the West Coast, something new was starting to bubble up. In Los Angeles, a different kind of sound was being born. It was a mix of electro-funk and the early beats of hip-hop. The scene was growing in clubs and on the radio. People were hungry for their own local heroes. They wanted music that sounded like their city, full of sunshine and cars with loud stereos. That's the world the LA Dream Team stepped into. The group came together in a place that was famous for music. It was a record store in Carson, California. The store was called the Mixmaster. This wasn't just any record store. It was a hub for DJs and music lovers. It was the spot where you could find the freshest vinyl and hear the latest sounds. The founders of the group, Rudy Pardee and Chris "Snake" Puppy Wilson, were DJs. They were spinning records and making people dance. They saw what was happening in the streets and in the clubs. They knew they could create something special. They decided to team up and make their own music for the people of Los Angeles. Rudy Pardee was the visionary. He was a businessman and a DJ. He understood both the music and how to market it. Chris Wilson was the musical genius. He was known for his skills on the turntables and his ability to create infectious beats. Together, they were a powerful combination. They didn't have a big record label behind them at first. They started their own label, Dream Team Records. This was a big deal back then. It showed that they were in control of their own destiny. They were building something from the ground up for their community, by their community. They believed in the West Coast. Their name, the LA Dream Team, was perfect. It captured the spirit of Los Angeles. It was the city of dreams, where anything could happen. And it was also a nod to the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team, who were dominating the NBA at the time with their own Showtime Dream Team. The name was confident and bold, just like their sound. They weren't just making music, they were creating an identity for LA hip-hop. They were telling the world that the West Coast had something to say. They were setting the stage for a whole new chapter in hip-hop history. The LA Dream Team sound was unique for its time. It was different from the gritty, sample-heavy beats coming out of New York. Their music was built on electronic foundations. They used drum machines like the Roland TR-808 to create booming, danceable rhythms. Their style was called electro rap. It was perfect for parties, for cruising in your car, and for the dance floor. The main members, Rudy Pardee and Chris "Snake" Puppy Wilson, were the core of this sound. Later, they were joined by Lisa Love, who added a female voice and a new dynamic to the group. They were a complete package. Their first big hit was a song called "The Dream Team Is in the House." It was released in 1985. The track was an instant classic in Los Angeles. It was an anthem. When you heard that song, you knew the party was starting. The beat was hypnotic, and the lyrics were simple and catchy. It was all about having a good time. Radio stations like K-Day, a legendary AM station in LA, played it all the time. K-Day was crucial for hip-hop on the West Coast. It gave local artists a platform. The LA Dream Team became one of the station's biggest stars. After their first hit, they kept the momentum going. They released another huge song called Rockberry Jam. This track was even bigger. It was fun, it was funky, and it had a playful vibe that people loved. It told a story about making a new kind of jam, a musical jam. The LA Dream Team wasn't trying to be hardcore or political. Their mission was to make people move. Their music was about celebration. They helped establish a party funk sound that would influence many West Coast artists who came after them, creating a lane for artists who wanted to make fun, upbeat hip-hop. Their success was a game changer for the West Coast. Before the LA Dream Team, most of the hip-hop you heard in LA was from back east. They proved that Los Angeles could produce its own stars. They showed that you could have a massive hit record without a major label deal. They built a loyal fan base right in their own backyard. Along with other pioneers like Uncle Jam's Army and the world-class Wrecking Crew, they laid the foundation. They made it possible for future LA legends like NWA, Ice-T, and Snoop Dogg to break through to the mainstream. After reaching the top of the LA hip-hop scene, things started to change for the LA Dream Team. The music world moves fast and tastes evolve. By the late 1980s, the sound of hip-hop was shifting dramatically. The fun, electro-funk party vibe that the Dream Team had mastered was being replaced by something harder and more aggressive. A new style called gangsta rap was emerging from the streets of Compton and South Central LA. Artists like Ice-T and NWA were telling stories about the harsh realities of life in their neighborhoods. This new sound was raw, political, and powerful. This shift in the musical landscape presented a major challenge for the LA Dream Team. Their feel-good party music started to sound a little dated next to the urgent and controversial lyrics of NWA's Straight Outta Compton. The audience was changing. The kids who grew up dancing to Rockberry Jam were now listening to rhymes about police brutality and street life. The Dream Team tried to adapt. They released an album in 1989 called Back to Black, which had a harder edge. But it was difficult to compete with the wave of gangsta rap that was taking over the West Coast. Internal issues also began to affect the group. Like many musical groups, creative differences and business disagreements can create tension. Rudy Pardee and Chris Wilson, the two founders, eventually had a falling out. The partnership that had created so much magic started to break down. This made it difficult to continue making music and touring as a cohesive unit. When the core of a group is fractured, it's hard to keep the dream alive. The chemistry that made them so special in the beginning was no longer there. The group slowly started to drift apart. By the early 1990s, the LA Dream Team was no longer in the spotlight. They had released a few albums, but their peak of popularity was behind them. The West Coast scene they had helped build was now dominated by artists like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac Shakur. The LA Dream Team's era had come to an end. They had left their mark, but the hip-hop world had moved on to a new chapter. Their fade from the scene was a quiet one, but their influence on the artists who came after them was undeniable. They were true pioneers who opened the door for others. Even after the group stopped making music together, their legacy continued. The members of the LA Dream Team went on to live their lives, but they never fully left the music behind. Tragically, the main founder, Rudy Pardee, passed away. His death was a huge loss for the West Coast hip-hop community. He was more than just a DJ and a producer. He was a visionary who believed in LA hip-hop when few others did. He helped create an industry on the West Coast, giving a voice to a generation of artists. His contribution is a permanent part of the foundation of West Coast rap. Chris "Snake" Puppy Wilson, the other half of the original duo, has remained active in the music world. He never lost his passion for creating beats and DJing. For many years he has continued to perform, often spinning the classic electro-funk and old-school hip-hop that he helped pioneer. He has also been involved in producing music for other artists, sharing his years of experience with a new generation. He sometimes does interviews and appears at events celebrating the history of West Coast hip-hop, ensuring that the story of the LA Dream Team is not forgotten by fans new and old. Lisa Love, who joined the group and provided a memorable female voice, also moved on to other things after the group's peak. She is a reminder of the important role women played in early hip-hop, even when they weren't always in the spotlight. Today, the key surviving members are seen as elder statesmen of LA hip-hop. They are respected for what they built. When you hear those classic 808 beats on the radio or in a club, you are hearing the sound they helped make famous. They are a crucial link to the past, a time before the West Coast was a global hip-hop powerhouse. The LA Dream Team's legacy is secure. They were more than just a group with a few hits. They were architects of a sound and a scene. They showed that you could be from LA and make hip-hop that mattered. They proved that you could build your own success on your own terms with your own record label. They gave Los Angeles its own soundtrack for a specific time and place. Their music was about joy, dancing, and community. That positive energy they put out into the world is still felt today. They weren't just a team, they were a dream that came true for the West Coast.